I've been working in the fine dining department here at the Cedars for almost 3 years. November will be 3 years. It's flown by. I am a senior exercise and sports science major at UNC. My concentration is as a fitness professional, and I'll graduate in December. December 15th at 2 o'clock. That is 83 days away. Yes, I've been waiting a long time. So I chose to share a little bit about me just in case you haven't heard my story. As a high school graduate, back in 1988, I was accepted to UNC, and that was my dream goal in life. I wanted to be a UNC graduate and become a doctor. That's all I ever dreamed about. Some little girls dream about their diamond or their wedding dress, not me. I just wanted to graduate and be a doctor. I did not choose to go to UNC at that time, so here I am 27 years later, and that is why 83 days matters to me. What did I do in those years? Well, here's the in-between years. I chose to get married and raise my family first. Have you ever ridden on a roller coaster backwards? You know, some of them go forward and then they'll turn it around and go back. Yeah, that's what I did. I did life backwards, and it's been a ride for sure. These are my sons, Kenny, Josh, and Tim, and their beautiful families. So my family grew quite a bit in those 27 years, and I'm very proud of them. They're all successful. When the youngest one, Tim, graduated from UNCW, and my marriage had ended and my life was taking a turn, I was like, what am I going to do now? And that's when I decided to go back to school. And that was 2015, and here I am. Here's the ones that you all love the most when you see them on my tie. Everybody, if I wear my tie that has my children on it, I get ratted out. Like, everybody wants to see the babies. So here are the babies. These are a little more recent pictures of them. Raylan is now 4. Next to her is Jonah, who was my middle son's son, and he is 2.5. I will get to babysit him in a couple of weeks. I'm super excited for a weekend by myself with him. And then Judson is Raylan's little brother. He will be 2 in November. And little Emmy there, she is turning into a little pistol. She's going to turn 1 at the end of November, and she has such a personality now. She's so much fun. So we learn a lot from our children and our grandchildren, and they bring a lot of joy to my life, as I'm sure yours do. Enough about me. Let's talk about some food. I said we could learn a lot from children. We can also learn a lot from our pets, our dogs. So with that being said, let's see if we can learn something from Pixie today. Pixie was a bear hunter at 2.5 years old. That makes her about 15 in our years, right? She looks ferocious, huh? She was a bear hunter in the green swamp of Brunswick County. A little later on, she still enjoyed being outside, and she was a hiker when we lived in the mountains, and she enjoyed that. There she is, about 56 years old. She's still pretty active, huh? Enjoying life. So just keep that in your mind, how she's progressed through her life as we progress through our talk here today. Nutrition needs. We have 5 main types of nutrients that we all need in our bodies. So I did give you a handout if you are interested and you like to kind of take notes to sort of keep yourself on target and thinking about things. If you'd like to, try to list those 5 nutrients. 3 of those, just to give you a couple clues, 3 of them are macronutrients, and we have some micronutrients that we need. And then one, the last one that most of us forget, is very important. I'm going to give you just a second and see who can get all 5 of them. Putting you to the test. This is like a pre-test. See what you learned today. See, this happens to me like all the time. All right, so let's see what we got. Carbohydrates. Anybody get carbohydrates on your list? All right. Anybody put protein on your list? Anybody put fats on your list? Somebody knows fats are good for you. Who thought you should not have fats in your diet? Anybody? Okay, good. I'm so glad to see that. We need vitamins and minerals. Those are our micronutrients. They are key. Do you think it's better to get those from a supplement in a bottle, or do you think it's better for us to get those from our foods? Foods. Whole foods are most important. Yep, good. And water's the last one. Anybody put water on your list? Woo-hoo! Give yourself a pat on the back. I'm so proud of you. All right, so a few more basics I want you to think about. On your sheet also at the top, I listed a place for you to put 3 purposes of nutrition. There are many purposes of nutrition, and you may come up with something different. You don't have to write them down right away if you want. We can discuss them first, and then you can write them down. But I'm going to cover a few key topics. I just wanted you just kind of get your wheels turning to think about, why do we need food? Like, what is the point in us coming to dinner whenever I'm there with you in the dining room every night and you're making your choices? You have all these different foods you can choose from off of a wonderful menu. Why? Like, why are you in there? There are some main reasons. Got to eat to live, all right? Anybody else? Who else? Is left Tig? She said energy. All right, good job. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Healing. All right, Mr. Strawn. Cellular repair. Good. Okay, so let's talk about a few of them. Fuel and hydration was the one that I wanted to really reiterate today, both at the cellular level and at the level that our organs need to function, because if our cells are sick, our organs are going to be sick, right? It's all building blocks in our body, so we have to keep ourselves healthy. We have to keep ourselves fueled. Whenever I try to choose between foods, I am constantly thinking, what kind of fuel do I need right now? Like, what am I about to do in the next coming hours? Am I going to go work out at the gym and I need a lot of extra energy because I'm going to run on the treadmill for 20 minutes? Or am I going to be sitting doing some needlepoint while I watch a TV show? Or am I going to go to sleep? Why am I eating this food? What do I need to get? What kind of fuel do I need to get from this food? Because we get fuel from protein, we get fuel from carbohydrates, and we get fuel from fats. A lot of people don't understand that the primary energy source that you are using right now while you are sitting there just listening and relaxing, does anyone want to guess? Carbohydrates? Nope. Fats. It's fats. Your primary energy source whenever you are at rest is your fat oxidation system. Most of us don't understand that. And that's why good fats are important. That's why it's important to choose. Like, if you were getting ready to go swimming, or you were getting ready to go out for a run, or you were getting ready to go play ping pong for a while, you're going to need different types of energy source than you do for something where you're going to be sitting, right? So we want to think about what kind of foods we're eating. Our immune system function is key. Yes, healing is important. Throughout life, we're going to break a bone, or we're going to get sick. We're going to have a respiratory infection, or pick up the flu, or we're going to need a hip replacement, or whatever. We're going to need to heal at some point. Sometimes we just get worn down. Physically, we just get worn down. I just mentioned that earlier prior to the lecture. I push myself trying to get through classes and work and all the different things I do, and I don't realize how much I actually wear myself down until I'm in the bed sick. We have to use energy to get better. And then we have a social aspect. That's what you get here when you come out to eat with your friends. When you meet someone, when you're waiting on a table and Audrey says, hey, would you like to sit with Mr. Katie? And Mr. Katie says, sure. And you go and you introduce yourself and you make a new friend and you sit and talk and have dinner and you laugh and you talk about your life and what you did in your job and all the things that you do, and you're enjoying food while you're enjoying company. That's a social aspect. You should be able to do that. When my granddaughter turned 4, do you think I said no to a piece of cake just because I know a piece of cake is probably not the best choice off the menu? No, I ate a piece of cake. My granddaughter turned 4. What? Yes, I ate a piece of cake. I was enjoying, I was celebrating her life, and it was part of the social aspect of what we need to be healthy. So that's just another thing for us to think about there. Oftentimes in the dining room, you ask me, Chris, should I have Southern-style green beans or should I have some steamed broccoli? And then you may say, I don't really like the spa soup today, but I'm not sure about the chilled peach because it's got sugar in it. Should I have that? So I put this on your paper for you to think about, because we have this conversation a lot. Since you know that I'm working on exercise and nutrition stuff at school, I think you pick my brain, and I think it's fun. So today I get to pick yours. The first thing I want you to do is look through the list, decide if there's anything on that list that you should just absolutely mark off. Like, I shouldn't eat this. Now, I want you to not necessarily apply this if you can't eat gluten or whatever like that. I'm just talking about like if you're healthy and you can eat whatever food you want, there's nothing affecting your diet in that way. Are there foods on the list that we should just eliminate? Does anybody feel like there's a food on there we should not eat? Miss Stam says cream spinach. Should not eat cream spinach. Why would you say that, Miss Stam? Do you mind if I ask? Because of the cream in it. She says no cream spinach. Ever. Never. I shouldn't even taste it? Like, okay, just not every night. So restricted it. Okay. Moderation. Are there any that you should just absolutely not even taste? I don't think so. Because they meet the needs that we just talked about, right? There are foods on there that will fuel your body. There are foods on there that will help heal your body. And there are foods on there to help you celebrate and enjoy your life, right? A social aspect. The key is, am I going to eat Raylan's birthday cake every single day of the week? No. Like, I know better. Why would I do that? I would, but I have to know I'm not going to do that if I want to be healthy. But it doesn't mean I can't ever have a piece of birthday cake. I absolutely, most of you know, love dark chocolate. 2 bite-sized pieces of dark chocolate are going to probably make me mad, but I would eat them just because I love them, and so can you. My point in this is you can make the choices. You don't have to never, ever eat Southern-style green beans, but think about the rest of your choices for that night, particularly. If you're going to eat Southern-style green beans, then it's probably a good idea not to eat a really salty piece of meat to go along with it, because Southern-style green beans is already going to have some extra seasoning in it, extra salt in it, extra pork or something to give it a good flavor, right? They're good. They taste good. But choose a lean, maybe grilled salmon or something to go with it that does not have a lot of extra salt on it so that you're using some balance in your decisions. Does that make sense? So it's okay if you go, oh, I really want some steamed broccoli tonight, but I also want a piece of fried chicken. You know, that's kind of balanced. Like, it's okay to be balanced. But when you start adding all the salty stuff, all the greasy stuff, all the unhealthy stuff in one meal, that's whenever you start getting used to those tastes and you start wanting it all the time. If you're used to eating salty stuff all the time, you're not going to be able to taste food that doesn't have a lot of salt on it. It's going to taste bland to you. You're not going to like it. With that being said, and we'll touch on this a little more, as we age, our senses are going to decline anyway. You cannot taste food the same way you did whenever you were 15. Our bodies just change over time. So you're not going to be able to taste it and smell it the way you did when you were younger. I can't. You can't. The problem is it happens so slow and gradual, we don't realize it's happening. We just go, I can't taste this. And it's not that it's cooked different. It's that our bodies change. We'll touch on that a little bit more. You like that activity? You see some things that you would pick and choose from personally? So sometimes it's just what you like, right? Like if you don't like Southern-style green beans, you're never going to pick Southern-style green beans. And I'm picking on Southern-style green beans because obviously I'm Southern-style, so but I can do that. But you're going to have foods that you enjoy more than others, and I would encourage you not to completely eliminate them unless there's a medical reason to do that. You know, enjoy your life. I'm going to share with you a calculation called basal metabolic rate. Anybody ever heard of that? Okay. So this is the Harris-Benedict equation. I'm figuring this out. Your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, is basically the amount of energy you need to just exist. Again, we're not talking about saying any words. We're not talking about eating food. We're not talking about playing ping pong or going swimming. Just to exist. Your body needs energy just to exist, just to breathe, just to digest your food, just to move all your blood around in your body. Your body needs energy to be able to do that, right? All your organs. So this is the calculation that you would use to figure out your BMR. I'm going to give you an example. I know a lot of times women are just like, oh, don't tell anybody your age or your weight. Well, I'm not like that. So I'm going to use me as your example since I can do that. Except that's not me. Okay, so 49-year-old, that's me, 160 pounds some days, and I'm 64 inches tall when I stand up really big. Okay, that's me. And my basal metabolic rate is going to be 1,421 kilocalories per day. However, me, same woman, same size and weight at 78, not even 30 years later, I need to reduce my calorie intake by almost 200 kilocalories a day, or I'm going to gain weight. Because if I don't reduce it, that's how we gain weight. If you take in more calories than you need to function, then it turns into fat. That's how we store fat. So you have to balance what you need versus what you actually eat. I give you another example, a 49-year-old male, and I just guessed based on like my boys, whatever, 6 foot tall, 195 pound, 49-year-old male, just to sit and exist, not to go out and lift weights, not to go out and kayak, or not to play cards or talk to his buddies, nothing else. 1,880 calories just to function. Did these numbers surprise you? They did me. When I was going through nutrition class and she told me I needed that many calories, I was like, I'm going to get fat if I eat that much. And she said, no, you're not. You're not eating enough. That's your problem. You're not eating enough. So a 78-year-old male, 195 pounds, 6 foot tall, only needs 1,680 calories. That's, $200 calories less than within about 30 years of time. That man needs to reduce his calories over that amount of time. And that's just his resting needs. That's not for function. That's not for working out or activities, right? So as you increase your activity level, obviously you need more calories. We're talking about just calories here. We get calories from 3 things we talked about earlier. Proteins, we get them from our fats, and we get them from our carbohydrates. We get a different amount from each of those things. So there are lots of mathematical equations. There are lots of scientific proven facts and all this that you can get all fancy and try to make it all complicated. But when it comes right down to it, just realize that your needs as you age, as far as what you need for energy, goes down. It declines. Other things decline. We all know that. But let's talk about them. So this chart was pretty interesting. I just thought I'd share it with you. It's basically showing life stages and some of the other nutrient needs that change. So let's just look in adulthood here. Middle ages, 50 to 70, you need more vitamin B and more vitamin D. And whenever you're 70 and above, you still need more vitamin D. But ladies, we're going to need less energy, which is going to come from what? Where do we get our energy from? Carbohydrates. And what else? Fats. And what else? Protein. So overall, our calories need to go down as we get older, and our iron levels decrease. Our needs decrease, not our levels, but our needs decrease because it's going to build up in our system, okay? So those are just a few things I just wanted to share with you. This was another interesting thought of mine. Like I thought about if you get a puppy and you go to the pet store and you go to buy the food, there's going to be all kinds of stages of food for a dog. Like they got small puppy food and big puppy food, and then you got middle-aged dog food, and you got the lower, they need to reduce their weight food, all kinds of foods for different kinds of stages in a dog's life. And in people's lives, we have all these charts to tell us, when you're a baby, you should eat this. When you're 3 years old, you should eat that. When you're a teenager, you need this. And now that we're older, here's what we need to do. Lots of us look at the food pyramid and we just use it like, okay, this is for every American or every human being on the earth. It is not true. They use the average healthy adult to determine that. It's a government thing. They got to have some kind of guidelines, right? And they got to help us out some way or another with our nutritional guidelines. But it's not always the most accurate for us as aging adults. Our needs are going to change, which we're going to talk a little bit more. So what are some things that happen in your life that cause your nutrition needs to change so much? What's something that's changed in your life over the past 10 years and you feel like you're looking forward to changing over the next 10 years that affect what you need as far as food? Can you think of anything? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Slowing down. Okay, so just like slowing down, just like in general, I'm slowing down. Okay, good. Mr. Strong? Level of activity. Stress. Illness. How many of you have had some kind of joint replacement surgery? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But anybody had surgeries or whatever, like in the last 10 years, like you just, yeah, so it's going to happen. Like I had 4 months of PT on my elbow last year. I'm not even left-handed. I'm primarily right-handed, but it was my left elbow. And I was like, what? She said, it's just because of how old you are. Like, I mean, she was point blank honest with me. She's the PT for the baseball team at school. And she said, it's because you raised 3 boys. You probably carried them with your left arm. Then you carried groceries and you carried diaper bags and you did all this stuff. All through the years, you've used that arm and you just wore it out. So now we're treating you for as if you played tennis as a pro. Basically, that's what it was. It was just worn out. So we're going to wear out because our joints are going to wear out. Our body's going to wear out. So those things are going to happen. So we got loss of muscle mass, decreased activity level. You're correct. We talked about earlier your senses. Have you recognized that you can't smell and you can't taste as much as you could before? Anybody notice that? Yeah, it's pretty common. And it's more common if you're more aware. Some of us are just more aware of things that happen anyway in our bodies. Like we're just go, oh, this hurts or whatever. And some of us don't even pay attention. They're just like, whatever. But yes, it changes. Did you know that as we age, you produce less stomach acid? Have you heard that? It's true. You produce less stomach acid, and because of that, your body can't absorb nutrients as effectively and efficiently as it did before. That's why sometimes we have to supplement some of the nutrients, some of the vitamins and minerals we need, because our body's not getting it. Even though you have to eat richer foods with more of those nutrients in. It's better to choose spinach, for instance, than a wedge salad, because the iceberg lettuce basically has no nutritional value. Your spinach is going to have some nutritional value, right? Your darker greens have more value. So choosing those darker leafy greens, you're going to get more from it than if you eat lettuce and then something else with it. So make sense? So lower stomach acid causes us not to be able to absorb our nutrients as much. I'm not even 50 yet, and I'm already on cardiac meds. It's frustrating to me, but my heart's pretty important. So but it affects, my medications affect some things too. Like our bodies react differently to medications, and sometimes they interfere with our bodies being able to absorb nutrients as well. I don't need as much. I don't feel like I want to eat as much because I'm not doing as much as I did before. I'm not running around after my 3 little boys who drove me crazy whenever they were younger and kept me going all the time. I'm relaxed a little more now, so I don't really need to eat as much food either. So my appetite's gone down. So you may notice that your appetite's lower than it used to be. So if you think about what I'm saying here. We need less calories, but we need more nutrients. But I can't really smell and taste my food as good, and I'm not really as hungry as I used to be. You see the conflict? There's like a battle going on. And in addition to that, there are more and more older Americans. America is getting older through the years. This is speculated, and this was, as of 2003, a profile done, anticipating that by 2020, we've got 54.6 million Americans that are over 65. And then by 2030, look how much it increases. More older Americans, more challenges, all these things that are going on, and we have greater needs. There's going to be more medical needs. There's going to be more assistance. We have a dilemma. Here are a few more facts. The average adult loses 3 to 8% of their muscle mass each decade after age 30. That means I have, as young as I am, I have already lost at least probably 10%, maybe up to 24% of my muscle mass that I had whenever I was a kid. That's a lot of muscle mass. And I'm still trying to be active, but it just happens because we age. It's part of the aging process. It's going to happen. Upward of 35% of community living seniors have been found to have undernutrition. That is one thing I'm so thankful for. You don't have to deal with that here. You have such a menu, such a community. You have food to eat, and it's a blessing. Most people who live in like an assisted living or a nursing home facility, they don't have that same type quality of food. They're alone. They don't want to eat as much. They're depressed. They've lost a loved one, or they're physically ill, and they don't have the appetite, and they're undernourished. Diverticular disease is often viewed as a disease of the Western diet. It's common and affects about 50% of people that are over 50 in the Western countries. I'm just going to toss in there fiber real quick. I want to say this. It's almost 2:30. I'm going to have to fly to here at 2:30 because I'm working to get myself through school. so I'm going to pick up the pace real fast and try to go through this. I put down on the bottom of your sheet, I knew I was going to be long-winded. I put at the bottom of your sheet a place for you to write down any questions you have. I am going to have a follow-up. It'll either be if you need an individual time to talk to me about your question, that's fine. I may do like a write-up for the Cedars Post. We may do another lecture. I'm not sure yet, but I won't disregard them. If you write them down, if they're important enough for you, write them down for me because they'll be important to me. So here's our challenges. Our activity level goes down, so we lose muscle mass. We need less calories, but we need more nutrients because our body's not absorbing as much, right? We need more nutrients because we're losing nutrients that we had before that we're not getting because they're not being absorbed. We have changes in hormones, so we need less fat because especially for us women, if we eat too much fat, it's going to settle around our bellies, right? And that's no good because that's going to lead to heart diseases and all that. We overall have a reduced sense of taste and smell, like I mentioned. Oftentimes it's hard for you to realize that you're dehydrated. If you have a headache, please, please, please drink water. Matter of fact, if you don't carry a water bottle around with you, if you don't take anything else from me today, start taking your water bottle around and keep it filled up. I've noticed that almost every building you go in has a place you can fill up your water bottle now. I'm working with children after school, and they have little water bottles they carry around with them all over. I love it. It's great. We need water. We got to hydrate. So we need more nutrients, less calories, less fat to balance all this out. One of the most important things I wanted to emphasize today was sarcopenia and dyspnea, which are the reduction in muscle mass and muscle size. This picture, I don't know how, it's pretty clear. So that's a 74-year-old sedentary person at the top. This is showing the fat tissue around the muscle tissue. This is their quads, right? The top part of their leg. Down here is a 74-year-old triathlete. That's muscle mass. This is the same age individual, but it's because they are active. All that's fat, all that's muscle. Same age gentlemen, they're just active. And so there's lots of things that come into play while we're not as active. We get hurt, we get sick, we don't feel as good, we don't have as much energy. There's a balance act going on, and I understand that's why we're here talking about your food. Food is fuel. That's the most important thing to get today. You're going to lose muscle mass. We're bound and determined to. We did find in that skeletal muscle power decreases faster than muscle strength. Muscle strength decreases faster than muscle size. So you may have, like your legs may be the same size, but the strength is going to go away at a faster rate than the size of your muscle. But even more than that, the power of that muscle is going to go away faster than the strength. So your power is like, think about jumping. Like your ability to jump, you're going to lose that first, right? And that makes sense. Your ability to do a squat, though, is strength, and that you're going to lose faster than just the actual size of your muscle. So you may, like, oh, I still got muscles in my legs. Yeah, you do have some muscle in your leg, but you're losing strength, you're losing power over age. It's just part of aging. So how do we defeat that? We have to exercise. All kinds of things that are risk factors as we age. All look familiar, right? I can tell you that exercise and diet are the two things that will affect these chronic illnesses the most. That you can, of anything you can do, diet and exercise. So our solutions: we need more protein, more vitamin D, more calcium, and that will help us reduce that muscle mass loss. So you're going to be losing muscle mass, but in order to keep muscle mass, in order to keep your body making muscle mass, in order to keep your muscle mass from being deteriorating, you need more protein, more vitamin D, more calcium. Where do we get protein from? Meat, beans, eggs, cheese, good. Vitamin D and calcium, the same thing. Vitamin B12, you don't necessarily have to take a vitamin B12 tablet. I would say if you've been taking acid blockers for a long time, like you had trouble with acid reflux and all that, you've been taking those for a long, long time, you probably don't have enough vitamin B12. You may feel less energetic and all that, and you may need to take some vitamin B12. If you don't eat meat, you definitely probably should supplement with some vitamin B12. Vitamin E is to improve your immune system, particularly respiratory disease. We got flu and coughing and colds and all that stuff's coming. It's right around the corner. So a good time for you to add some vitamin E. More fiber. I'm sure that we all understand the need there. Make sure you're using whole grains, better than white pasta. You can definitely cause yourself problems using too much white bread. A lot of our older generation prefer white bread because that's what we grew up on. But if you can make that transition and get some grains into your diet, it'll help a lot. It'll help you feel a lot better with your digestion and as far as having problems with constipation. So a quick summary: carry your water bottle, refill it. Challenge you, refill as many times as you can every day. Eat plenty of veggies and fruits, your dark greens, and especially berries. Those are your antioxidants. You want whole grains and bread, and whole grains as far as breads and pastas, and on your rice, use brown rice. Beans, nuts, avocados, and seeds are all good choices to get you some good healthy fats and other nutrients in. Lean meat and fish are good. We know that. You want to limit. It's a good idea to limit how much red meat you eat and make sure it's lean as you can. You know, a couple times a month or something, treat yourself. But obviously, any white meat and fish is going to be healthier for you as far as overall nutrients. If you absolutely have to have a dessert, I use the big term high glycemic carbohydrate, okay? That just means dessert, okay? That's your donut, that's your cookies, your ice cream. If you absolutely, I got to have it. I got to have some M&Ms. I got to have a Snickers bar. Do that within 30 minutes of your most active time of the day. So if you go work out in the gym, reward yourself. Within 30 minutes, have your little Snickers bar real fast. Does anybody want to guess or know why? Anybody have an idea? When you work out, when you've expended a lot of energy, your glycogen stores are depleted. So the way we refuel those is with your high glycemic carbs. So that's a good time to eat those. All right? So now, I will never tell you not to eat desserts. I've already had a member say, hey, I love to eat my butter pecan ice cream with caramel sauce every night. Can I still have it? I said, absolutely. Make sure you work out first. It's perfect for after. If you drink wine, try to limit 1 to 2 glasses a day. Did you learn anything from Pixie? She's now 13 and about 93 years old. She is retired and sits by the lake when she wants to. And she's a sleep therapist about 22 out of 24 hours a day. She also enjoys foods. Like I suggest to you, don't eliminate stuff you love. I feed her the most holistic, healthy dog food I can find, but I still give her some little, if she wants a little, like, can I have some of your pepperoni pizza, Mom? Yes. I want to taste that sugar cookie, or this is actually her licking the yogurt spoon, so she loves Greek yogurt. I hope you got something from the lecture today. I hope you're encouraged to eat healthy, but enjoy yourselves while you're eating. It's a social thing. It's a fun thing. Fuel for your body, hydration for your body, healing for your body, and it makes you feel good. So what more can we ask for, right? Food is great. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a great day.